published 16:38 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 9th of May 2018, updated 2:36 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 10th of May 2018. The wrong team did a lap of honor at the end. What a night this was for Huddersfield. What a performance. What a season this has been. As Chelsea's players gathered in the centre of the pitch to show the truncated appreciation to the minority that remained, Huddersfield were still losing their minds in the corner. David Wagner was being given the bumps by a crowd of celebrating players. The fans were mimicking noisy salutes imported from Germany. It was riotous, joyful, everything Chelsea have not been this year. Huddersfield boss David Wagner celebrates with his staff and players after the Premier League survival was secured. Huddersfield goalkeeper Jonas Lössl is mobbed by teammates after a string of fine saves kept the scoreline level. The Huddersfield players lap up the appreciation from their jubilant supporters after securing the top-flight status. Laurent Depoitre got to the ball ahead of Willy Caballero and Antonio Rudiger as they chased a punt from Aaron Moy. The Huddersfield striker collided into Chelsea stand-in goalkeeper Willy Caballero, but no foul was given by the referee. Depoitre emerged unscathed and managed to find his feet as the goalkeeper stayed down. Following the coming together, Laurent Depoitre was then able to knock the ball into the empty net and give Huddersfield the lead. Against the run of play, the Belgian striker's goal sent the visiting supporters into raptures as the side chased Premier League survival this year. Huddersfield players and substitutes around goalscorer Laurent Depoitre after he opened the scoring in the second half. The lead did not last long for Huddersfield after an attempted clearance rebounded off Marcos Alonso's face and into the net. The Spanish left-back races back towards the centre circle as Chelsea chase a win to keep the top four hopes alive. And while in the streets around Stamford Bridge, all the talk may have been of Antonio Conte's team selection, the visitors could not have given a monkey's. They are staying up. They are staying up. No Eden Hazard in the starting lineup. No Olivier Giroud. What was Conte thinking? It was as if he was playing the match scheduled for Sunday at Newcastle, not the one directly ahead, forgetting that the second fixture was close to irrelevant if the first didn't go right. Tottenham now cannot be caught and Liverpool need only a draw at home to Brighton to condemn Chelsea to the Europa League. This was the chance to apply pressure, to spread the fear around on the last day. The wider the scrap, the more chance there is of benefiting from the carnage. Far better for Liverpool to be looking around for two teams, not one. Instead, their objective could not be more straightforward. A home draw against a team that has long been safe. This was a huge mistake on Conte's part. Yet Chelsea were Wednesday night's support act, no more. This fifth-place reckoning has been coming since the home defeat by Tottenham. This was about Huddersfield and one of the greatest survival acts of the modern Premier League era, leaving aside that just remaining for a second season is unexpected glory, to do so with a final straight of matches against this season's champions, last season's champions, both away, and Arsenal is quite stunning. Having got a point at Manchester City on Sunday, nobody expected a second lightning strike, but here it was, brave and tireless, not a drop of energy unspent. Willian attempts to run upfield with the ball during the early stages of Wednesday night's clash at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea midfielder Cesc Fabregas chips the ball forward as Huddersfield's Rajiv van La Parra puts on some pressure. Chelsea's Alvaro Morata looks to get control of the ball with his outstretched boot as Christopher Schindler applies pressure. Chelsea wing-back David Zappacosta attempts to get to the ball ahead of Huddersfield's Chris Lowe in the first half. Chelsea defender Andreas Christensen is beaten to the ball in the air as Depoitre gets his head on the end of it. Fart was Carlos Carvalhal's phrase. They put all the meat on the barbecue. And it was Carvalhal Swansea who got burned. They now need to win by 5 against Stoke and Southampton lose by 5 to Manchester City, or there will be an awful lot of Premier League clubs joining Mark Hughes in giving the Swansea Marriott a miss next season. Survival is often about defying the odds, and Huddersfield have most certainly done that. The run-up from hell has been, well, if not a walk in the park, certainly not the one-way ticket to the championship widely predicted. This was a performance of incredible courage from Wagner's side, not in terms of attacking impetus. Huddersfield's play was not ambitious, but their aggression, the commitment, the furious application to the task, that took heart. So, sure, they were buoyed by Conte's bizarre logic, but that should take nothing away from this point. 1. Even a Chelsea without key individuals is still a mismatch man for man, but Huddersfield did not treat it like that. They played Chelsea as equals, and even took the lead. That came in the 50th minute, in effect the first time Huddersfield had threatened Chelsea's goal. Willian lost the ball deep in the opposition half. Chelsea players claimed a foul, but it seemed more of a tussle, and Aaron Moy launched a long pass upfield. Laurent Depoitre was onto it, and suddenly away. Out came stand-in goalkeeper Willy Caballero to make an impetuous and calamitous error. Basically, he won second prize in a fight, clattering into Depoitre on the edge of the area, but coming off worse and falling to the ground as the big striker piled on and put the ball into an empty net. Huddersfield's Van La Parra and Chelsea midfielder N'Golo Kante challenged for the ball in the middle of the park. Chelsea winger Willian is sent crashing to the floor by a strong challenge from Huddersfield midfielder Philip Billing. Huddersfield striker Depoitre jumps to meet the ball as Cesar Azpilicueta and Zappacosta watch on. Chelsea midfielder Cesc Fabregas looks exasperated as the hosts struggle to break through the visitors' defence. Huddersfield goalkeeper Jonas Lössl exchanges words with his centre-back Terence Congolo during the opening period. Chelsea midfielder N'Golo Kante leans into Huddersfield counterpart Aaron Moy as they tussle for possession of the ball. Cue mayhem in the Huddersfield end, consternation elsewhere. Suddenly, Hazard and Giroud were on, as they should have been from the start. Chelsea equalised, but it was fortuitous and ultimately not enough. Cesar Azpilicueta crossed, Christopher Schindler cleared but succeeded only in kicking the ball straight onto the forehead of Marcos Alonso, who deflected it into the goal. For there it was all Chelsea, but it was too late to pick up the slack. The mood on the pitch reflected that of it. Too many, it seemed, did not believe. It wasn't the full Arsene Wenger end of an era desertion, but there were plenty of spare seats in a stadium that is usually full. It was as if the crowd no longer had faith that Chelsea could pull off this top four comeback, even with Tottenham so notoriously flaky at this stage in the season. As it was Mauricio Pochettino's team held their nerve to guarantee Champions League football against Newcastle. It is Chelsea who blinked. On 82 minutes there was a goal-mouth scramble so mad and frantic it might have been choreographed by Max Sennett, but that was as near as Chelsea came to a second. What should have been a lap of appreciation at the end became a lackluster shuffle around a fast-emptying stadium. It is hard to imagine the FA Cup final will not be Conte's final game now. Never has Huddersfield's nickname, the Terriers, seemed more appropriate. They snapped and snarled at Chelsea, a little, yappy dog that thinks it's the size of a Doberman. And very successful they were too. Chelsea had all of the game, some good chances, but just a single goal, and while Huddersfield achieved little in the way of pressure, that wasn't the plan. They came here needing a point for survival, and to aim for 3 would have been reckless and greedy. So they contained, and chased, and got men behind the ball and harried. Chelsea striker Alvaro Morata takes the ball around Jonas Lössl but is taken too wide of goal and fails to find the target. Furious Chelsea players surround the referee after he blew the half-time whistle before they could take a corner kick. An incredible goal-mouth scramble saw Christensen's header palmed onto the post by goalkeeper Jonas Lössl. It wasn't pretty, but, frankly, who cares? This was Huddersfield at the home of a club that measures its transfer expenditure in hundreds of millions. What were they going to do? Take the game to them? Around 4 p.m, David Wagner could be seen leading his players on a sunny stroll around the streets of West London, near Earl's Court. They looked as if they didn't have a care in the world. Inside there must have been butterflies. A warm spring afternoon wasn't going to remove the tension from the challenge ahead, and there were nervous moments. Just 5 minutes on the clock when Chelsea carved out the first opportunity, Cesc Fabregas hitting a raking crossfield ball into the path of Alonso on the left. He struck it well, but goalkeeper Jonas Lössl was equal to it. Soon after, a better chance. Fabregas whipped in a corner, which was won with a quite outstanding jump from Azpilicueta. It looked a certain goal with Antonio Rudiger arriving at the far post, but he could not get his finishing touch on target. Alvaro Morata, too, should have done better with a chance when put through by N'Golo Kante. He turned superbly to break one-on-one, but his next touch was heavy, going too wide around Lössl and left with a tight angle and only a pass across the face of goal. With so many leading players imprisoned on the bench, Chelsea were missing the polish that had seen off Liverpool. The history of the Roman Abramovich era, however, suggests this is the last mistake Conte will get the chance to make.